We begin with the millions of Floridians under hurricane warnings this morning.
Yeah, Idalia is now a hurricane that is barreling toward Florida's Gulf Coast with winds at 75 miles an hour, and the storm is expected to rapidly intensify today. Officials are forecasting that Idalia will quickly strengthen into an extremely dangerous major hurricane before landfall. Evacuation orders have been issued, and the National Weather Service is warning that parts of the west coast of Florida and the Florida Panhandle could see life-threatening storm surge, hurricane force winds, and flash flooding. Floridians are making last-minute preparations, stocking up on supplies and shoring up their homes and businesses, something they have plenty of experience doing. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is urging everyone to take officials' warnings seriously.
There really doesn't seem anything to prevent it from continuing to strengthen. This is going to be a major impact, and Floridians should expect that this storm will be a major Cat 3+ hurricane.
Already in Cuba, Idalia brought strong winds and rain, forcing people there to evacuate coastal towns as the storm churned toward the western end of that island. We have a team tracking the storm all morning. We begin with NBC News correspondent Priscilla Thompson in Cedar Key, Florida.
Well, good morning. Here in Cedar Key, the windows are already boarded up for all of these businesses along the waterfront and also in the downtown area as folks here are bracing for the impacts of Hurricane Idalia, which is now slated to make landfall as a major hurricane here all day yesterday. Folks were filling sandbags and preparing their homes because this is one of the areas under a mandatory evacuation. Folks have until 4 p.m. to get out before we begin to see those impacts of the storm. Already, the governor has declared a state of emergency in some 46 counties across the state, pre-positioning and mobilizing 5,500 National Guardsmen with 2,400 high water rescue vehicles to be prepared for those search and rescue efforts. And the message from the governor today is for folks to have a plan and to act now. They are waiving all tolls so that people can get out on the road and evacuate as we wait to see what exactly this hurricane is going to bring. Back to you.
Right, Priscilla, thank you so much.
Now let's bring in Anthony Holloway. He's the St. Petersburg Chief of Police. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now, we know some communities are still recovering from last year's Hurricane Ian. Chief, what are you expecting from Hurricane Idalia at this point? How bad do you think it's going to be? And how much of an issue is it that there is still some recovery going on from last year?
Good morning. Thank you for having me here. We're just expecting a lot of wind and a lot of flooding because we normally get that during a rainstorm. We just want to make sure that people have a plan. We have all our officers out there working today. And if they're in an evacuation zone, that they should, go to one of our shelters or move to the next level. So we're doing everything possible to make sure everybody is staying safe.
You mentioned that flooding, and on screens right now we can see these sandbags being prepared, being placed. Tell us more about preparation. I mean, you have this window where we know this is coming. What are you doing to prepare, and are you satisfied with where you are at right now in terms of preparation?
We're very satisfied where we are. The next 24 hours is going to be the most crucial part. We have resources placed throughout the city to make sure we're ready to respond. At 4 o'clock this afternoon, we're expecting our first band to come in because we're on the right side of the storm. Then we know between 9 p.m. and 9 a.m., that's when we're going to really see a lot of rain, wind. So we're just going to make sure everybody's prepared for that. We want to ask people to shelter in place. And then first sunlight tomorrow, we'll be able to go out and to assess the damages and get the city up and running as quickly as possible. We have 4 shelters that are open right now, 1 special need that we opened yesterday. And we're still making announcements throughout the day to people that are in flood zone A to evacuate and go to shelter or go to a higher place so they don't get stuck in the floods.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about that evacuation situation in St. Petersburg. How many people is that impacting? What should residents who should be evacuating know at this point?
We guesstimate it's over 300,000 in the Pinellas County area. So what we're asking people to do is, as the officers go through the area, the fire department making announcements and telling people to evacuate. If they don't have any place to go, they can go to a shelter or they can go further inland just to get away from the rain and get away from the possible flooding. They don't sure not where to go. They can go online to check to see if they're in evacuation zone A so we can make sure they stay safe.
And Chief, what is your biggest concern right now between the wind, the potential flooding, the potential power loss? What is it that you're keeping an eye out for specifically?
Our biggest issue is the wind that's going to come through the area, and people that are not going to evacuate, they're going to decide to stay home. So if they're going to decide to stay home, we're asking them to shelter in place. And just remember, if you do decide to stay home, that maybe first responders won't be able to respond to your location. So if you have an option, please leave. But if you decide to stay, just remember that we won't be able to respond until the winds die down. And if it's flooding, then we'll have to figure out how to get to you. We do have boats stationed throughout the area, and we have Duke Energy ready to go to try to get power restored as quickly as possible.
St. Petersburg Chief of Police Anthony Holloway, thank you very much for your time this morning, and we're thinking about you over the next 24 hours.
Thank you.
Our storm coverage continues with meteorologist Angie Lassman.
Yeah, she's going to tell us the latest on this track. Hey, Angie, good morning.
Good morning, guys. We now, of course, have Hurricane Idalia. You heard the chief just talking about preparations. I want to make sure that we know over the next couple of hours, really this morning, you're going to want to finish those preparations because you're going to start to see some of these outer rain bands working across the state of Florida. It'll be kind of squally weather. And then, of course, conditions will deteriorate as we get into the overnight hours and into early tomorrow morning. Right now, though, winds at 75 miles per hour, just barely a Category 1. But don't let that fool you about where this system is going to go over the next 20 plus hours. We likely will see it become a Category 2 here shortly and then a Category 3 by the time it makes landfall. Notice it's moving north at 14 miles per hour. It's going to pick up the pace too before it starts to approach the state of Florida. And ahead of that, we've got plenty of alerts, warnings, watches, you name it. It is up for the state of Florida. The hurricane warning is what you see in red right here, including Tampa, stretching up into parts of the Big Bend. That's the area that we're closely watching for the greatest impacts. That doesn't mean the other spots across the state won't have impacts, and even into parts of the southeast, we could see some major impacts too. Hence the reason that we have tropical storm watches up, hurricane watches, and tropical storm warnings right now. When we talk about the track, it's going to eventually start to move away from Cuba, where it's been dropping heavy amounts of rain for folks there. It's right now a Category 1. Look how fast it becomes a Category 2. This water in this area of the Gulf of Mexico, some of the hottest on planet Earth. We're talking high 80 water temperatures. And it's not just at the surface. It is well into the layers of the ocean, and that means, or in the Gulf of Mexico, I should say, and that means as the system starts to mix that up, we're still dealing with warm water fueling it, and there's no shear, which we often see kind of inhibiting strengthening of storms. So it doesn't have anything to stop it from becoming really well organized and a monster of a storm. One thing to note, Category 3 is what we have it at right now. It could be a little weaker than that. It could be a little stronger than that, maybe Category 4, but right now it doesn't matter what category it is. The impacts are going to remain the same, and we're talking life-threatening, damaging storm surge as well as strong winds, and eventually it'll move over parts of the Carolinas. So here's the storm surge. This is what I'm most concerned about, especially considering exactly where the center of the storm comes on shore. So on the right side of the system, from the center, is where we see the largest storm surge. It's where we see potentially some tornadoes, but focus on the storm surge, 8 to 12 feet. Wow. Folks in Cedar Key, if we see a Category 3 come on shore, we haven't seen something like that. It'll be the strongest since 1950. So a lot of people haven't lived through something like this. This is a swampy area, low-lying, really, really vulnerable to storm surge, and we could see that surge accompanied by large and dangerous waves. The farther south you go, of course, moderate surge could be impactful for the Tampa Bay area, so just a heads up on that. And then as we get into the next couple of days, as the system moves offshore for the Atlantic and those winds start to come in from offshore, you'll see parts of Georgia, the Carolinas dealing with storm surge. And on top of that storm surge, we've got heavy rain, up to a foot of rain in parts of the Big Bend. Significant flooding also across the Carolinas. We've got a full moon, so the high tide will be an issue too that we'll have to kind of keep an eye on in communities. So something to note, we've got a moderate risk of flooding, and that flash flooding risk is going to last through Thursday. So just be mindful of that. And on top of that, guys, of course, we'll talk about winds. There'll be hurricane force winds, the closest to the core, of course, but we could see tropical storm force winds 300 miles across the coast of Florida.
Wow. It could brush up against a good chunk of the coast on the eastern side.
It's that weird geography of Florida and the track that it's taking that makes it really dangerous and something to for sure take seriously.
Listen to those local officials if it comes to evacuation orders. Yeah. Thank you, Angie.
Of course.
Former President Donald Trump is lashing out after a judge set the start date for his federal election interference case. In a hearing yesterday, Judge Tanya Chutkan announced that the trial will begin on March 4th of next year. That's well before 2026, which is when Trump wanted it. The March date puts it right in the middle of the Republican presidential primaries and the day before Super Tuesday. Trump blasted the move as an attempt to undermine his presidential campaign, calling it election interference. In court, Judge Chutkan pointed out that the former president will have to make that trial date work just like any other defendant. Trump has denied any wrongdoing and has already pleaded not guilty in this case. There was another significant ruling in another Trump case. That's the election interference case in Georgia. We now know that the former president and his 18 co-defendants will be arraigned next Wednesday, September 6th. A lot to get through, so let's bring in NBC News Justice and Intelligence correspondent Ken Delanian and NBC News legal analyst and former federal prosecutor Cynthia Oxney. Good morning to both of you. So, Ken, let's begin with you and that March 4th trial date in the federal election interference case. We know special counsel Jack Smith was in the courtroom. He wanted it in January. Trump's team was pushing for a date in 2026. Sounds like that was a non-starter for the judge. So how was March decided? What comes next here?
Good morning, Joe. That's right. April 2026 was a non-starter. And what Judge Tanya Chutkan begged the Trump defense team to do was give her a more reasonable alternative. She asked repeatedly, tell me how long you really think it will take you to get ready for trial. Give me a date. They refused to do that. And so she ended up ruling in a way that was really favorable to the prosecution. You know, a date that was just 2 months removed from the January of next year date that the prosecution originally proposed. So a real blow to the Trump team. And John Lauro, Donald Trump's lawyer, immediately objected after she ruled and said that he didn't think that he could provide a proper defense for his client under that timetable. But Judge Tanya Chutkan just ruled that out and rejected that. She said that there's plenty of time for the defense to grapple with the substantial volume of evidence they're going to have to deal with in this case, because a lot of it is already known to the defense. A lot of it had already been made public by the January 6th investigating committee. One thing we should be clear with our viewers about, though, Joe, is that this trial date is not appealable, but at the same time, it's not set in stone either. It very well likely will push because there'll be other issues that will be litigated in this case that may cause delays. But what this ruling yesterday does signify is that this judge, Tanya Chutkan, really intends to push this trial forward before the November 2024 election. The prosecution said the public deserves that, and the judge appeared to agree.
So, Cynthia, I want to ask you more about something Ken just mentioned. We know the former president took to social media saying he plans to appeal the judge's decision on a start date. As Ken just said, that's not a decision you can appeal, right? Though I understand there are other ways maybe Trump could try and get this start date pushed back. Help us understand this.
Right. He cannot appeal a scheduling order. Probably should have checked with somebody before he hit the social media site on that. But no, that is not an appealable order. But I do think there's a possibility that it takes a couple of weeks, maybe longer. There are immunity issues that they claim they're going to raise. All those immunity issues have already been decided by the D.C. Circuit. And the D.C. Circuit has also been pretty hip to this delay tactic. And so they've moved very quickly. So I would expect this certainly goes to trial long before the summer of next year.
Ken, a lot going on yesterday in another courtroom in Atlanta. Trump's former chief of staff, Mark Meadows, and the Fulton County DA, Fani Willis, they faced off in court for several hours. This is part of the Georgia election interference case. Meadows wants to have it moved to federal court. There were some notable moments in that hearing, right?
Yeah, well, the first notable moment was the fact that Mark Meadows testified at all, Joe. A lot of legal experts believed he wouldn't risk that. And as he said himself at one point, I'm in enough trouble as it is. And he claimed a faulty memory on certain issues. But the gist of this hearing was Mark Meadows arguing that he wasn't acting politically when he was helping Donald Trump arrange that infamous phone call with the Georgia Secretary of State, where Donald Trump asked for a certain number of votes that he needed to win the state. Meadows was making the larger argument that everything he did in this case was pursuant to his duties as chief of staff, as a federal official, and therefore the case should be removed to federal court, where undoubtedly he wants to make the argument that he's immune from prosecution because he was a federal official. So this was deeply significant, not only because Mark Meadows wants to make that argument, but as Cynthia alluded to, Donald Trump wants to make that argument, not only in this case, but in the federal case in Washington, D.C. He wants to claim presidential immunity in saying that all the stuff he was doing to try to overturn the election was because he was concerned about fraud in the election as the president. The problem with that is that as the phone call and other evidence makes clear, he was very concerned about his own election results, and he said that over and over again. He didn't frame it in terms of a larger question about election integrity. He framed it in terms of how many votes do we need to win, and that's what Mark Meadows had to acknowledge yesterday, and so it's looking kind of dubious.
So, Cynthia, in that Georgia case, the former president and his 18 co-defendants, we now know they're going to be arraigned next Wednesday, a week from tomorrow. This is going to be dramatically different from any of the other legal proceedings that Trump has been involved in so far, because this will be the first time that there'll be cameras allowed in court. So we're actually going to see it. What should we know about that?
Well, it's going to be, must-see television. Because what's happened is his lawyers are the three lawyers are going to be the first three that go to trial in October. Cheeseborough, who, probably had a pretty good strategy trying to go first originally, because then if he went all by himself, he could be pointing the finger at everybody else. Unfortunately, Team Crazy got involved, and now he's got other lawyers who are involved who are also going to be there, which makes it almost impossible for him to do the finger pointing to other lawyers. The entire case will come in. And so before the Republican convention, before even really the voting begins, we're going to have a blow-by-blow explanation of what happened. Because remember, not only will the evidence come in about Cheeseborough, but the evidence and about what the lawyers were doing, but every detail in this RICO conspiracy can come in against all the other defendants. So we're going to have a pretty good detailed preview of exactly what Donald Trump was doing, what Mark Meadows was doing, what Rudy Giuliani was doing, and we're going to know that and be able to see and make our own evaluation about what that is. Now, there's a reasonable possibility that maybe Cheeseborough chickens out. Maybe he was just trying to push to see if the prosecution was really ready. And then once he had these other people involved, he makes a different strategy change and it gets pushed back. But I would expect that case is going to go to trial long before the Jack Smith case now. And we're going to be able to really hear the evidence in a more serious detail.
All right, a lot to juggle in just this one case alone. Ken and Cynthia, thank you both.
Well, one faculty member was fatally shot after a gunman opened fire inside a laboratory at the University of North Carolina yesterday. Police say the suspect has been arrested and an investigation is underway to determine a motive for the attack. Officials are also continuing their search for the weapon used in the shooting. The suspect's name has not been released because he has yet to be charged. The shooting sent the campus into lockdown for several hours yesterday afternoon. Students say they were forced to barricade themselves in classrooms, dorm rooms, even bathroom stalls, just 1 week after class resumed for the new year. Here's what some had to say about the alert.
People started coming in the bathroom, and they were like, there's an active shooter on campus. So immediately we all just stayed hiding in the stalls, squatting on the toilets, just scared. We didn't know what was happening.
It was terrifying because, you see that on your phone and you think it's just one of those things, you don't really know what to think about it. And then you see what the response is and you start to realize just how serious the situation is. And you start hearing rumors from other people and you just don't know what to think. So I kind of froze in the area. I knew where I was pretty safe. There were police officers everywhere. So I didn't really want to move, take any chances.
All classes and campus activities have been canceled for today. During a press conference yesterday, the chancellor of UNC Chapel Hill called it a, quote, tragic day for our campus community. And in Jacksonville, a campus security guard is being called a hero after he confronted a gunman at a historically black college before a racist shooting unfolded nearby. The vice president is now saying America is experiencing an epidemic of hate. NBC's Gabe Gutierrez is in Jacksonville with the latest.
The president of a local historically black university says this racist rampage could have been even worse if not for the quick actions of one campus security officer. Before the gunman, seen here on surveillance video, walked into a Dollar General store in Jacksonville Saturday and killed 3 people, police releasing new images of the moment he stopped in the parking lot of nearby Edward Waters University. And that's when a group of students flagged down a campus security officer.
I don't consider myself a hero.
Lieutenant Antonio Bailey quickly confronted the gunman, later identified as 21-year-old Ryan Christopher Palmeter.
He had on what appeared to be a tactical vest up under a shirt and mask.
Did you ever, in your mind, ever consider not confronting the suspect?
No, I did not. This is what we signed up for.
The gunman sped away and later opened fire at the Dollar General nearby before taking his own life. While the local sheriff says it's not clear that the gunman planned to target the university, the school's president has no doubt why he went there first. Do you believe that if he had not confronted the suspect, do you believe that this attack would have been unfolded here on this campus?
I absolutely do.
The FBI is investigating the shooting as a hate crime. The sheriff here says the gunman had written down racist rants. The victims identified as Gerald Deshaun Gallion, A.J. Legary Jr., and Angela Carr.
This is so unreal. Oh, God.
Carr's daughter, Ashley, says her mom was an Uber driver who leaves behind 3 kids and 16 grandchildren.
She's touched the lives of hundreds, if not thousands.
President Biden meeting with civil rights leaders commemorating the 60th anniversary of the March on Washington.
White supremacy is a poison.
Police say the gunman legally purchased the AR-15 style rifle and handgun he used, and that he had no criminal record. Though as a teenager, he was held for an involuntary mental health evaluation.
What he did is totally unacceptable in the state of Florida.
At a prayer vigil, Governor Ron DeSantis faced boos from the crowd after previously drawing backlash over efforts to change Black history teaching standards in Florida's public schools. The governor announcing that the state has set aside $1 million to beef up security at Edward Waters University. Back to you.
All right, Gabe Gutierrez, thank you so much. Welcome back this morning. Hawaiian Electric is facing more than a dozen lawsuits over that devastating Lahaina fire. But for the first time, we are hearing from the company that their power lines were de-energized for hours before those deadly flames broke out. NBC News correspondent Sam Brock has the details.
Almost 3 weeks after fires ravaged Maui, claiming at least 115 lives and leaving hundreds unaccounted for.
See them right there, that's the power line that started.
Hawaiian Electric, facing more than a dozen lawsuits for allegedly not de-energizing its power lines ahead of a severe wind event or properly maintaining its equipment, released a series of new assertions, including that the fire at 6:30 a.m., the morning fire, appears to have been caused by power lines that fell in high winds, that the Maui County Fire Department responded and reported it 100% contained, left the scene, and later declared it extinguished. And perhaps most importantly, at about 3 p.m., a time when all of Hawaiian Electric's power lines in West Maui had been de-energized for more than 6 hours, a second fire, the afternoon fire, began in the same area, with the cause undetermined. Jerry Singleton's law firm represents some 300 people suing the utility.
What is your response to seeing what the company said overnight about the fact that they are saying the lines were de-energized for some 6 hours?
Well, that's obviously the first we've heard of it. We have looked at the evidence very closely. We have people on the ground. There is absolutely no evidence to support HECO's claim. In contrast, all of the evidence we've seen is that the lines were energized.
One of the parties that Singleton Schreiber represents, the family of Lorenzo Buddy Jantok II, who suffered second and third degree burns to 90% of his body, according to the lawsuit, leaving behind children, grandchildren, and a rich legacy. If there was a plan to de-energize the lines, Singleton says that's not what HECO told the federal government about a PSPS, or public safety power shutoff.
For HECO to say on the one hand, in a filing that's under penalty of perjury and that is with the SEC, that they did not have a PSPS, and then on the other hand, to say that they shut off the power is completely inconsistent.
Hawaiian Electric has declined our request for an interview, but less than a week after the fires, the company's CEO told Tom this.
Why didn't you shut off the power when the wind started to pick up?
As I said earlier, it's still in the early days. We're still looking at all the information, and we haven't actually had a chance to do all of that at this time.
With all due respect, it's been 6 days, though, so almost 6 days.
And we've been putting everything we've got to helping our communities right now and our employees who are going through a lot and supporting them so that they can support the communities. You may be talking about what happens in California and the shutoff program. And so we, like most utilities, don't have that program.
Before HECO's latest statement, Maui County's attorney told us there should have been a plan to de-energize power from the beginning.
On the failure to de-energize their lines in 2023 for a for-profit investor-owned utility is really below the standard of care. This is a systemic or systematic failure across the entire power grid.
Another critical question here is whether there were two separate fire events or if the original morning fire later produced an ember that tore through Lahaina. The ATF has not yet determined the cause of the fires that have forever changed this magical place.
Our thanks to Sam Brock for that report. As he was just referencing at the end there, right now we do not know if an ember from what Hawaiian Electric has called the morning fire may have carried onto a larger blaze that then destroyed Lahaina, but accounts from residents and Maui County's lawsuit itself say that could have happened. But right now there's still a lot of questions about what happened and when.
We're taking a look at a historic fraud settlement this morning with one of the biggest government contractors in the country. And it only came to light after a Marine veteran, a mom of three, raised the alarm. NBC News Justice and Intelligence correspondent Ken Delanian has that story.
Much of Sarah Feinberg's philosophy about life was shaped by her time as a captain in the U.S. Marines serving in Iraq.
It helped me get a sense of right versus wrong and have a clear picture of the service that I wanted to perform for our country.
In 2015, as a young mom, she was rising up the ranks of Booz Allen Hamilton as a financial analyst.
Booz Allen works almost exclusively with the U.S. government. They have a ton of contracts with Department of Defense.
She says she quickly realized the company's other contracts, some with foreign governments like Saudi Arabia, were bleeding cash.
And in order to keep the company profitable, they were passing those costs onto the U.S. government contracts.
So these private contracts, including with foreign governments, are losing money. And to cover those losses, they're taking money from the American taxpayer?
That's right.
And it was a lot of money.
What I discovered while I was there was that they were overcharging the government by nearly $100 million a year.
That's when Feinberg says she began a campaign to convince her bosses to put a stop to it.
It made me very upset as a taxpayer. It made me very upset as a Marine officer. I saw how limited our resources were.
After dozens of meetings, she got her chance to present her findings to 8 senior executives. She was 31.
They were mostly older men. There were, I think, 2 women in the meeting out of the group. And I was definitely the youngest person in the room.
Feinberg started by telling the group that fixing the issue would mean losing money. But she says she was quickly cut off by the chief financial officer, who told her,
I appreciate all the work you've done on this. We are not going to make it a priority this year.
That must have just been devastating for you.
It was very devastating for me. I called my husband right afterwards and told him I was quitting my job.
Feinberg got a lawyer who explained she could sue on behalf of American taxpayers and claim a share of any settlement under a law that dates to the Civil War, the False Claims Act. The Justice Department began an investigation and 7 years later announced a $377 million settlement. As much money as it was, Feinberg says the company should have faced even harsher penalties. Feinberg's $40 million share landed in her family's bank account a few weeks ago. Booz Allen admitted no wrongdoing, saying in a statement that the company has always believed it acted lawfully and responsibly, and noting that a criminal investigation was closed without charges. Did they underestimate you?
I mean, I wish they would have taken me and the issue more seriously while I was there.
Today, $40 million richer, Feinberg says she plans to give much of it to her church.
I've got 3 kids. I tell them doing the right thing is the right thing no matter what the outcome is. There's very few times in this life where you'll actually be rewarded for doing the right thing, but this is one of those unique situations.
Ken Delanian, NBC News, Washington.
International headlines now, starting with new information about the weekend crash of an Osprey aircraft in Australia.
That's right. Ali Aruzi joins us now with more on that. Hey, Ali, good morning.
Good morning, Savannah. Good morning, Joe. That's right. 3 U.S. Marines who died when their Osprey aircraft crashed during a military exercise in Australia have been identified by their unit. Corporal Spencer Collard, Captain Eleanor LeBeau, and Major Tobin Lewis were amongst the 23 Marines on board the MV-22B Osprey when it crashed. Of the other 20 Marines, 3 are being treated at the Royal Darwin Hospital. 1 is in critical condition, and the other 2 are said to be stable. Japan has started to release treated radioactive wastewater from the damaged Fukushima nuclear power plant into the ocean, but Japan's neighbors are not happy. Chinese citizens have been making crank calls and throwing stones at Japanese diplomatic facilities and schools, prompting the Japanese Prime Minister to ask China to urge its citizens to halt these acts of harassment. And finally, country music legend Dolly Parton has turned down a tea invitation with the Princess of Wales, citing a very busy work schedule, but also joking that there was another reason. Kate wasn't going to promote her new album. Parton said it was a very sweet gesture and that one day she's going to get to do that. I know, Joe, you wouldn't turn down a tea invitation with Dolly Parton.
Wait, no, definitely not with Dolly Parton or with Kate. I didn't go with any of them.
Yeah.
All three of us.
That is very interesting. Wow.
Okay. Well, I hope it happens someday. We'll see. All right, Allie, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Welcome back. Tennessee lawmakers are in the spotlight again. Protests erupted outside the Tennessee House floor yesterday after Republicans banned a Democratic lawmaker from speaking or debating during a special session. Representative Justin Jones was accused of violating new rules put in place to punish lawmakers who are deemed disruptive on the House floor. Now, the special session was called to address the deadly elementary school shooting in Nashville back in March. Jones began criticizing a bill that would add more police to schools. He was then warned not to stray off topic before a vote was held to silence Jones for the rest of the day. In response, Democrats walked off the floor. Jones had this to say outside the chambers.
Our Democratic caucus was united. We walked out because that's a charade, a sham happening in there, and the people are united, challenging authoritarianism. The people in the galleries were taken out. The Democratic members walked out. So all in there now is just a facade of democracy and of the legislative process.
Justin Jones' name sounds familiar. That's because he was one of two lawmakers expelled from the House earlier this year after being accused of playing a role in gun control protests inside the state capitol. He was later reelected to his position.
Well, an investigation is ongoing this morning into a deadly rescue helicopter crash in South Florida. A fire department captain and a woman on the ground were killed. NBC News correspondent Tom Costello has the latest.
Yeah, good morning. All of that video that we see should help investigators determine what went wrong. 2 people were killed, 4 injured, including 2 people on the ground, all in fair condition. The first sign of trouble came with smoke coming out of that chopper in flight as it responded to a morning traffic accident with serious injuries. 8:45 a.m. in Metro Fort Lauderdale. Residents looked up to see a Broward County Sheriff Fire Department helicopter trailing thick black smoke. Bop, 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 bop. Just 650 feet in the air, the boom and tail rotor began buckling as the chopper started spinning out of control, then nosedived into an apartment building below. Killed in the crash, an older female resident of the apartment building, and fire captain paramedic Terrison Jackson, who was on board the chopper, a 19-year veteran remembered for being thoroughly committed to his job.
Terrison was a rock star. He was one of the best of us.
The rescue chopper had just lifted off, headed for a traffic accident with life-threatening injuries. But within minutes, pilot Darren Roche radioed he was in trouble.
We're having mechanical issues while we're headed back to our station.
A fire broke out on board. They did their very best, from my understanding now, to try to extinguish that fire.
Seconds later, the horrific crash. The pilot and another paramedic were injured in the crash, as were 2 people on the ground, all taken to an area hospital. The chopper involved is a dual-engine Airbus Eurocopter 135 like this one, used by police and rescue services worldwide. Whatever went wrong, say experts, it was very quick and catastrophic.
It's no longer flying. The rotor is keeping it somewhat in the air, but it can't stay there. So it's not under control. It is spinning.
This morning, the Broward County Fire and Sheriff's Departments are mourning one of their own.
Captain Jackson Terrison typified what it meant to be a brother firefighter. He perished doing what he loved.
Both the NTSB and the FAA have investigators on the scene. They'll be looking at the chopper's safety and maintenance records. Was there any recent trouble? Did any pilot report a problem? How and exactly where did that fire break out on board? The sheriff points to their heroism. They were dealing with this onboard fire, and yet they took the time to radio that they could not respond to that traffic accident. where a mother and daughter, a child, were seriously injured. Back to you.
All right, Tom, thank you so much.
Time now for our weekly mental health check-in. Americans are going to the therapist now more than ever, but overall mental health is at an all-time low. We're going to take a closer look at why that is.
Plus, what's called hostile parenting. It could have a major impact on kids under 10. We'll explain what exactly that means and how to correct course if you might need some tips. Let's bring in licensed marriage and family therapist and friend of the show, of course, Dr. George James. For more on all these headlines, hi, Dr. James. Always great to have you with us. So let's start with therapy in the U.S. What Joe was just mentioning. Studies show more people are experiencing a decline in their mental health despite a record number of people going to therapy. What do these numbers tell you about how America is approaching therapy and their mental health?
Good morning, Savannah. There's lots of things that we're learning from this. One, the positive is that more people are acknowledging that their mental health challenges, that they might be struggling, or might even go out and receive therapy or help that they may need. On the other, because there's so many different things that people are dealing with, pandemic, recession, life challenges, so many things that we're old, and it's causing people to have high mental health needs. And I think there's so much more that we need to do with the system and how we need to be able to be there for people. So there's so many factors. One thing is that people are acknowledging that mental health is important.
Let's talk about this new study that shows hostile parenting could be doing major harm to kids under the age of 10. So walk us through what hostile parenting looks like, and is there anything that can be done to stop this type of parenting?
Some of us have known about this parenting style for a long time. It's called authoritative parenting, authoritarian. People might say it's my way or the highway, are not really leaving room for their child to share or to even be able to discuss things. Often it's high punishment. And that leaves children feeling really overwhelmed and leads to levels of mental health or even mild levels. So it's really important that parents be more authoritative, give some room, not permissive where you let anything happen, but there's an exchange between you and your child.
Finally, doctor, we want to ask you some trends here. Hot girl walk, nature walk. We've heard of those ones. Now, what about taking a silent walk? Apparently, there are some major mental health benefits here. Tell us about this.
Walking has always been great for people. It's still great for your physical and mental health. Silent walking is now doing that without the distractions, without a buddy, without music, without a podcast, and that you can use that time to meditate, to be more mindful, to pay attention to your breathing, and that there's benefits there. Be that. Now, it's not easy being able to be silent while you're walking. Practice it. Walks, quiet areas, and tune into your body and your inner thoughts, and you might see some benefits, and that's probably why it's trending right now.
There we go. Dr. George James, thank you so much. We are back now with that scandal-rocking Spanish soccer. There are strong calls for the head of the country's soccer federation to step down after he kissed a female player on the lips following Spain's World Cup win. He is remaining defiant amid investigations into the incident. NBC News foreign correspondent Molly Hunter has the latest.
After a late-night meeting in Spain, the regional presidents of the Spanish Soccer Federation now calling for Luis Rubiales to resign. For days, the outrage has been building on the streets of Madrid. Spain's embattled soccer federation chief already suspended, now under federal investigation. The Spanish prosecutor's office announcing pretrial inquiries today, a formal investigation into sexual harassment. FIFA provisionally sidelining Rubiales for 90 days and banning him from contacting Spanish national player Jennifer Hermoso. It's been just 8 days since Spain won their first ever World Cup, a history-making moment, the federation chief brushing off initial questioning about the advance. But in the following days, calls for accountability began to surface. As pressure mounted, Rubiales continued to downplay.
Pues bueno, ocurrió lo que ocurrió. Yo creo que de manera muy espontánea. Repito, sin mala fe por ninguna de las dos partes, ¿no?
His failure to apologize only made protests grow louder.
Las disculpas que ha dado el señor Rubiales no son suficientes. Hasta incluso yo creo que no son adecuadas.
Rubiales maintaining his defensive stance, insisting the kiss was consensual.
Y yo le dije, un piquito, y ella me dijo, vale.
But Hermoso, the top scorer for Spain, is crystal clear. As seen in the images, at no time did I consent to the kiss he gave me. I do not tolerate that my word is questioned, and much less that words are invented that I have not said. Adding she's been under continuous pressure to make a statement that could justify his actions. Rubiales digging in, saying it was more of a peck than a kiss, and insisting repeatedly he's not going anywhere.
No voy a dimitir. No voy a dimitir. No voy a dimitir. No voy a dimitir. No voy a dimitir.
As the Spanish government began suspension proceedings, the soccer world uniting to support Hermoso.
Si no te vas, te echaremos.
Her teammates saying they refuse to play until he's removed. 11 members of the team's staff resigning over the controversy as fellow players stand in solidarity. Orlando athletes in wristbands saying, "With you," a banner that reads, "We're all with Jenny," and shirts reading, "This is over." Hermoso looking on from the crowd while Madrid and Milan players show the same message, "We're with you, Jennifer Hermoso." Even England's team, which lost to Spain in the final, showing their support.
We stand up for what's right.
Spain's deputy prime minister vowing her support for Hermoso.
Lo que hemos visto, creo que lo ha visto todo el mundo, ¿no? Con una agresión sexual.
The now disgraced federation chief saying he will legally defend himself.
Our thanks to Molly Hunter for that report. Now that the investigation has been officially launched, Hermoso has 14 days to issue a formal complaint. But the Spanish players say this is an issue they have been trying to fight for years. But now that they've actually won the World Cup, they hope people will actually listen.
Financial headlines now. It's looking like Google could potentially dodge a massive class action payout for the most part.
CNBC's Silvana Henao joins us this morning with that and other news. Hey, Silvana.
Hey, Savannah. Hey, Joe. Yeah, so a federal judge plans to free Google from a class action lawsuit filed by 21 million consumers. They claim the company overcharged them in the Google Play App Store. The decision could significantly reduce the amount of damages Google might owe. Consumers claim they would have paid less for apps and enjoyed more choices if it wasn't for Google's alleged monopoly. The company has denied wrongdoing. A similar case has been filed by several state attorneys general. Meanwhile, Google aims to license data from Google Maps to makers of renewable energy products, according to internal documents seen by CNBC. The business could generate as much as $100 million in its first year. Potential partners range from solar installers like Sunrun and Tesla Energy to real estate firms like Zillow and Redfin and hotel operators such as Marriott. And Barbie is creating some magic at the box office and a lot of money, too. It is now the top grossing movie in Warner Brothers history, topping the $1.342 billion made by Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. At some point this week, Barbie will become only the 13th movie ever to cross the $600 million mark domestically. It's expected to pass the Super Mario Brothers movie as the top earnings movie this year, guys.
Looks like it was a wise investment to do a Barbie movie.
Certainly. And Margot Robbie tried to make it for years and years and years and didn't even want to necessarily star in it. It's a really cool story.
Look at that. Yep.
Welcome back. Well, singer Shakira is set to win the Video Vanguard Award at this year's Video Music Awards. This recognition comes after her 4 VMA wins and her viral BZRP Music Sessions performance. The Colombian star will be the first South American to take home the Vanguard Award. This win also brings Shakira to the VMA stage for the first time in, get this, 17 years. And get this also, fans are predicting she will duet with her friend Karol G, who is also set to perform at the award show. I mean, what a powerhouse performance if that actually happens.
No kidding. It'll be cool to see her on the stage.
Yes, so cool.
Thanks, Savannah. Finally this hour, at one of the nation's most beloved national parks, Yellowstone, efforts are underway to monitor and protect grizzly bears. NBC News contributing correspondent Kaylee Hartung joins us now with more on how they're doing this and what they hope to learn. Kaylee, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Joe. Call it a bare necessity for an endangered species. In the country's oldest national park, they are now capturing and monitoring grizzly bears as part of this ongoing effort to protect them. Wildlife experts say this is critical for the health of the entire ecosystem.
This morning in Yellowstone National Park, biologists are baiting grizzly bears in the name of science. The U.S. Geological Survey and the National Park Service are running the 2-month survey to capture and monitor the large creatures under the Endangered Species Act.
There's some data that scientists can only get when they get up close and personal with a grizzly bear.
Grizzly bears became protected as a threatened species in 1975, when they were almost wiped out. As of 2021, it's estimated about 1,000 remain in Greater Yellowstone. Wildlife experts say this monitoring is critical to the species' ongoing recovery.
If we find grizzly bears that aren't doing so well, that means that probably several things in the ecosystem are really off balance and the ecosystem needs some improvement. On the flip side, finding healthy bears, especially young bears, mothers of breeding age, that kind of thing, suggests that the population is doing great. And so all of this information, whether it's good or bad, can help biologists give recommendations for conservation.
Large cage-like traps will be set with natural food sources like deer and elk to lure the bears inside. Then biologists will collect various data points like age, gender, and DNA to gauge the overall health of the grizzly bear population. Yellowstone will shut down areas of the park where field captures are underway, with bright warning signs alerting the public to stay away for their safety and the safety of the bears. Humans have long had a fascination and sometimes healthy fear of grizzly bears. Last month, on a hiking trail just west of Yellowstone, 48-year-old Amy Adamson was killed by a grizzly bear. Experts believe she was attacked after crossing paths with a mother and her cubs. And just weeks ago, this video of a crowd of tourists in Yellowstone surrounding a group of bears to take photos, raising concern. Experts say tragic incidents and close calls like these are just a reminder to stay at least 100 yards away from wild animals. Yellowstone is the oldest national park in the U.S. Nearly 1 million people visited in July alone. Some credit the increased popularity and visibility of the park to the hit TV show Yellowstone. The national park and its wildlife are heavily featured.
The best way to take care of the environment is to respect the environment, and that means all creatures that live within it. No matter what the wild animal is, give it the space it needs, and that is a really good part of being a good environmentalist, is respecting wildlife.
So Kaylee, this is a 2-month survey. How many bears do scientists expect to capture and study in that time?
Yeah, so it's hard to put a number to it. While they're hoping to study as many bears as they can in that span, experts say that they could gather quite a bit of helpful data from even just one bear. And any data is better than no data at all. So trends they see in just a few bears after getting so up close and personal with them can lead to scientific conclusions about the larger population to help conservation efforts and policy decisions.
All right, very interesting. Kaylee, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Amazing video.
It's going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now.
But stick with us because the news continues right now. Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm Savannah Sellers.
I'm Joe Fryer. Right now on Morning News Now, millions of people along Florida's Gulf Coast are bracing for impact. Overnight, Idalia was upgraded to a hurricane and will likely grow in strength even more today. The latest models project landfall as early as tomorrow morning. We have full coverage, the latest on where the hurricane is headed and when it will hit as preparations ramp up in communities that could be in its path. Also this morning, a full courtroom calendar for former President Trump over the coming months. Judges in both Washington and Georgia laying out their plans for 2 of the trials involving Trump's alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election. We've got his full schedule heading into 2024 as his former chief of staff, Mark Meadows, clashes in court with Georgia's DA. We're covering it all. We're also watching some major Medicare changes this morning, with the Biden administration announcing the first group of drugs that'll be up for price negotiations. But Big Pharma isn't necessarily on board. Plus, Proud and Loud. Later in the hour, we'll introduce you to a sister-sister duo. They really mean business, bringing punched-up Asian flavors to your kitchen with a flair, all on their own. That'll be part of Women Mean Business.
That's right, our latest installment, and I'm so excited to get to talk to these sisters.
Exactly, excited to have that conversation. Good to have you with us this morning. Hurricane Idalia is rapidly intensifying as it closes in on Florida's Gulf Coast.
Millions of Floridians are under hurricane warnings, and officials in the state are urging those in the eye of the storm to evacuate. The National Weather Service says this storm should be taken seriously. It is warning parts of the west coast of Florida and the Florida Panhandle could see life-threatening storm surge, hurricane force winds, and flash flooding. The Tampa International Airport has officially closed ahead of the storm, with commercial flights stopping after midnight. Crews there are working to secure jet bridges, equipment, and aircrafts. And Floridians are bracing themselves for the potentially life-threatening storm. They're making last-minute preparations, gassing up their cars, shoring up their homes, businesses, even boats, ahead of tomorrow's expected landfall.
We've been extremely lucky here in Tampa and have been bypassed by bad ones. And I'm just afraid that our luck is going to run out.
We're tracking the storm for you all morning, bringing you the latest forecast and updates from officials. NBC News correspondent Priscilla Thompson is in Cedar Key, Florida. That's where we're going to start right now. Hey, Priscilla, good morning.
Yeah, Savannah, good morning. This is what the waterfront here in Cedar Key looks like today. It is boarded up windows up and down the street as residents here are up early, continuing those storm preps, bracing for this hurricane, and they are racing against the clock. They have until 4 p.m. today to get out. A life-threatening storm barreling towards Florida's Gulf Coast. As residents brace for impact this morning, Idalia is now a major hurricane. How bad do you think the storm is going to be?
It looks like he's going to be a big one. Even some of our old locals are pretty concerned at this point.
Idalia expected to produce dangerous winds of up to 115 miles per hour, ushering in a potentially deadly 12-foot storm surge.
We now have 5,500 National Guardsmen activated and available.
There are tens of thousands of linemen that will be staged. The goal is to get the power restored as quickly as possible.
Florida residents and the Coast Guard urgently preparing for the impending hurricane, boarding up homes and businesses, stocking up on supplies, and filling sandbags to protect against storm surge. Some Florida communities still recovering after being battered by Hurricane Ian less than a year ago.
I've got one window that has a small leak. I am, believe it or not, duct taping that, just trying to get ready for this one.
And the governor has issued a state of emergency for 46 of the state's 67 counties, including this one. FEMA is also pre-positioned in the state, and we are seeing dozens of school districts closing schools across the western part of the state and the Panhandle. The Tampa airport has now shut down, and officials here are really urging people to take this seriously and that today, now, is the time to act. Savannah?
All right, Priscilla, thank you so much. Stay safe.
Let's now bring in Harvey L. Ward Jr. He is the mayor of Gainesville, Florida. Mr. Mayor, good to have you with us. So I know you signed an executive order declaring a local state of emergency. First of all, what exactly does that mean for Gainesville, and what are you bracing for?
So thank you. Good morning. We're bracing for a Category 3 hurricane here in Gainesville. You know, the hope is that it doesn't happen that way, but we're Floridians. We know that we have to be prepared. We can't leave it to chance. Our folks are incredibly prepared. Our city staff, county staff, our sheriff's office, our police department, our fire response. We are prepared for this storm. Our people know what to do. But, you know, when we won't really know until it comes through. An executive order, an emergency declaration, essentially just gives us the opportunity to act during and after the storm with a little more latitude than we would normally have. It sounds like a much bigger deal than it is as an emergency declaration, but basically it just gives us a little more latitude locally to be able to get things done that need to be done in the moment that we might otherwise need to go through some local legislative work to accomplish.
Gainesville is a little bit inland from where we just saw Priscilla there along the coast. What are the top things you can do to prepare right now? Do you wish you had a little bit more time, or do you feel like you have enough time to get everything done?
So we always would like more time. I would love for us to have several more months before we have to worry about anything like this, but that's not the case. You know, we know how to prepare for a storm. You know, in your home, in your business, that means be ready. You know, charge up your devices, charge up your batteries, make sure you've got supplies for a few days if, you know, God forbid the power goes out. Be ready to be self-sufficient for a few days. Check on your neighbors. You know, have a network of communication set up in your neighborhood. and with friends and family who might not be local, so that so everybody knows you're home and safe, and that you're well taken care of.
For you, what is your biggest concern? Is it more of a rain concern where you are, or do you still worry about the winds?
So we do worry about winds. Water is always a concern. It's usually the most destructive part of any storm like this. But we're a heavily forested community. We love our trees in Gainesville, and most of the time that's great. But we have not had a major storm come through in a very long time, and that means that our tree canopy is vulnerable. And if tree canopy is vulnerable, then the neighborhoods are vulnerable. So, we're asking folks to make sure you clear out anything that obviously could become a flying object during a storm. Clean the loose objects out of your front yard, your backyard. Bring them inside. Try to, if you see loose limbs or any of that sort of thing, try to get those cleared out before this evening when we need to be going inside and preparing indoors.
Yeah, so on top of that, in these final hours as Hurricane Idalia gets closer, what is just your primary message to people in and around Gainesville?
Be safe. Take this very, very seriously. Even if we see it veer off the current path that puts us in a very difficult position, don't let up. Take it very, very seriously until it is well north of us, because even after it passes, there could still be fertile ground for tornadoes and that sort of thing. Once the soil is soaked, then the trees could fall even without wind. So be very aware for the next several days, and until this storm is well past us, take it very, very seriously.
Gainesville Mayor Harvey L. Ward Jr., thanks for joining us this morning. Stay safe, and we'll keep in touch with you over the coming days.
Thank you so much.
Let's now bring in meteorologist Angie Lassman for more on our storm watch.
Yeah, Angie, good morning.
Good morning, guys. The mayor making some really good points about the tree canopy and such there. And just to put it into perspective for folks that live in that area, it's been since 1950, before that we've seen a Category 3 hurricane in this area. So a lot of folks not alive during that time may not know how to prepare. And we know that Florida is a hotspot for people to move to. So make sure that you do have those instructions from your local governments, officials, that you're heeding those warnings, especially when it comes to evacuations. Let's give you the rundown of exactly what's going on with Idalia, because we've seen some minor changes with that latest update that just came out. Winds now up to 80 miles per hour, sitting 135 miles west-southwest of the Dry Tortugas. That's just offshore of the Florida Keys. And you can see it's looking a little healthier. We're starting to see kind of an eye give a little bit of a peak. And it's moving at 14 miles per hour now, and it's expected to move even faster than that. So that's going to do a couple of things for us. It's still going to keep it over these really warm waters long enough for it to intensify and likely rapidly intensify. We need it to hit 35 mile per hour increase in a 24-hour time frame in order for it to be considered rapid intensification. And we're likely going to see that. It spends some time over that water, but the good news is that because of how fast it's moving, we likely will see less of an impact when it comes to rains. That doesn't mean there won't be an impact, because there still will be, but it'll also spend a little less time over that really warm water. It doesn't change the fact that we've got a Category 3 hurricane that's likely going to impact the Big Bend area. But if you're in that cone, then you need to be aware of exactly what's going on over the next couple of days. So let's talk about the rain. We've still got the potential to see up to a foot of rain in places from the Big Bend stretching out to parts of the Carolinas. We've got high tide. That's going to make a big impact on that coastal flooding. So be aware that flash flooding risk is going to be there through at least Thursday. And on top of that, we've got at the coast what we're really concerned about, that storm surge. We know what happened with our ice storm last year with Hurricane Ian in parts of southwest Florida with the wall of water that came on shore. And anywhere you can see Cedar Key is right in the center of that. 8 to 12 feet is a big deal, guys. We're going to likely see storm surge on the East Coast as well. And of course, those strong winds that the mayor mentioned, knocking down trees, power outages. Make sure you're charging up all your devices and you have extra batteries. All that kind of stuff is going to go a long way in the next couple days.
Got to be prepared for days without power, potentially.
Exactly.
All right.
Thank you, Angie. Well, now to the fallout this morning from two major hearings involving former President Trump and the court cases he's involved in.
Yesterday, the judge overseeing the federal election interference trial announced that trial is going to start on March 4th of next year, just one day before Super Tuesday. Trump responded saying he's going to appeal that decision, though legal experts tell us decisions involving court dates are not subject to appeal. At the same time, Trump's former chief of staff, Mark Meadows, was in an Atlanta courtroom. He took the stand in a hearing involving his request to move his Georgia election interference case to federal court. NBC News senior legal correspondent Laura Jarrett has the latest.
Hey there, the former president now faces 4 criminal trials in 4 different places as he heads into a busy presidential campaign season next year. But at least one federal judge is making it clear she plans to treat him just like anyone else.
As the Republican primary heats up next spring, so might a criminal trial about the last presidential election. A judge in Washington, D.C., penciling in March of 2024 for federal prosecutors to begin their case against Donald Trump for trying to overturn the 2020 election. Judge Tanya Chutkan rejected the former president's bid to delay the trial until after next year's election, emphasizing the public's interest in seeing this case resolved in a timely manner.
The trial date could slide, but not because Mr. Trump is going to prevail on appeal.
The Republican frontrunner's political calendar now on a collision course with his trials, and his rivals are pouncing.
You don't go with someone who's going to be in a courtroom longer than they're going to be campaigning.
That March 4th date in Washington, the same day Georgia prosecutors have asked for their state trial to start on election interference. And it's the day before Super Tuesday, when more than a dozen states hold their Republican primaries. It's also just 3 weeks shy of Mr. Trump's trial in New York, where he stands accused of falsifying business records to cover up an alleged affair before the 2016 election. 2 months after that, another trial set for his alleged mishandling of classified documents in Florida. Mr. Trump has denied all wrongdoing in each case, continuing to attack the prosecutors online, while in a courtroom in Georgia, his former chief of staff took to the witness stand for nearly 5 hours. Mark Meadows defending his own actions from around the last election as he tries to move his Fulton County racketeering case over to federal court.
They want to put him on the stand for a limited purpose, which is for him to claim that he was acting in the scope of his official duties.
But that effort was undercut by another Republican at the heart of that case, Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, who testified that infamous call he fielded from Mr. Trump asking for him to find votes in Georgia was only about helping the Trump campaign.
Now, the judge in Georgia says he will rule promptly, but in the meantime, all 19 defendants in that case, including Mr. Trump, are set for arraignment on those state charges on September 6th. Back to you.
All right, Laura, thank you so much.
Let's now bring in NBC News legal analyst Danny Savalas. Hey, Danny, good morning. So let's start with Mark Meadows in court yesterday. As we just heard, many people were surprised that he took the stand. He spent 5 hours answering questions. What are your takeaways from yesterday's hearing?
Well, here's the thing. Mark Meadows doesn't have a high burden to meet. It's really just a preponderance, and he doesn't have to show that his claim of a federal defense, specifically under the Constitution and even more specifically under the Supremacy Clause, he does not need to show that it's a winner. He just needs to show that it's plausible, whatever that means. It doesn't need to be highly likely to succeed, just plausible. And I think the defense's strategy by putting him up there for so long and even subjecting him to cross-examination, which I'm sure he was very prepared for. The reports I read seemed to indicate that he had his canned answers ready to go. But by talking about how much he believed he was working at the direction of the president and that investigating interference with elections is a federal, something that falls within his federal duties, all he had to do was convince the judge that it was a plausible defense. So with that standard and the fact that his case is already in federal court, removal is not a request. You file a notice and you're in federal court. It's the DA's job to try and drag him back down to state court.
Right, an important distinction there. Danny, if we could switch gears and talk about the March 4th trial date in the federal election interference trial, one of the special counsel's investigation. So the judge held a pretty tough line against arguments that doesn't give the former president's team enough time to prepare, to go through all the discovery, and also that it would interfere with Trump's presidential campaign. Walk us through this.
Yeah, if I were defense counsel, I would have asked for a 2026 trial date, and I would have known that I was never going to get a 2026 trial date because this is federal court. And even if it ends up, by the way, there's a chance this trial could go forward in 2026. But that will not be because of anything the judge chooses. And by that, I mean federal courts will set these short trial dates, but things happen. They get moved. Maybe they'll move it a month or two at a time. Maybe they'll move it 3 months. But that doesn't mean that this trial won't go forward in 2026, although it's mind-boggling to think that it could even be a possibility. It's just that the judge was never going to schedule a trial date that far out. But look, if you're the defense, you ask for the sun, the moon, and the stars and hope the judge splits the difference and maybe gives you one in 2025, which is still a huge win for the defense because so much of all of the federal defense cases for Trump involve delay. Because if he can get past inauguration, then Donald Trump can put in an attorney general who will make this case go bye-bye. And if that's not an option, then he'll try to pardon himself.
Danny Savalos, as always, thank you so much.
Turning now to North Carolina, where an investigation is underway following a deadly school shooting on the UNC Chapel Hill campus. Officials arrested the suspect and are now searching for a motive and the weapon used during the attack. One faculty member was killed. NBC News correspondent Ali Vitale is in Chapel Hill with the latest. Ali, good morning.
Yeah, Joe, just 24 hours ago, this campus was on total lockdown, a really scary start to the semester here. Just 1 week after classes began at UNC Chapel Hill.
Possible active shooter on campus.
A tragedy that's become all too familiar at schools nationwide.
Has a 9mm, possible Asian male.
I'm grieved to report that one of our faculty members was killed in this shooting. This loss is devastating.
After the initial call for shots fired, the entire campus went on lockdown. A school alert warning an armed, dangerous person on or near campus. Go inside now. Avoid windows. Heavily armed officers swarmed the campus. Some students walking down the street with their hands up. Some sheltering in place.
So immediately we all just stayed hiding in the stalls, squatting on the toilets, just scared. We didn't know what was happening.
Other terrified students fleeing through a first-floor window, backpacks dangling. An elementary school across the road also placed on lockdown. Then, less than 90 minutes after the terrifying ordeal began,
I think that's him.
A suspect was taken into police custody, captured live by our NBC News Raleigh affiliate WRAL.
To actually have the suspect in custody, it gives us an opportunity to figure out the why and even the how.
And 4 hours after the chaos began, police giving the all clear. But students left deeply shaken.
Honestly, it makes me feel a little bit sick because this is a situation that we really shouldn't even have to be worrying about.
And those who knew the suspect, stunned.
Because I would have never guessed that he would be the kind of person who could possibly be capable of this kind of thing.
And Joe, the community here waking up to a string of lingering questions, including how and why this happened. The FBI Charlotte office is assisting local law enforcement in the investigation. We expect that could take weeks, but certainly an all too familiar part of back to school season, as we saw just play out yesterday. Joe.
All right. Ali Vitale in North Carolina. Thank you.
We're back with new details about the events leading up to that racist shooting in Jacksonville. Officials released surveillance video showing what the gunman was doing before the deadly rampage.
This comes as the campus security officer who confronted the suspect is now speaking out for the first time. NBC News national correspondent Gabe Gutierrez joins us from Jacksonville with the latest. Gabe, good morning.
Hey, Joe, good morning. That officer is now being hailed as a hero. And while federal and local authorities say that this attack was racially motivated, the sheriff here says that the dollar store behind me may have been targeted because the gunman used to work at a similar store.
This morning, newly released surveillance video is revealing more of the chilling moments leading up to what authorities say was a racist rampage at a Dollar General store in Jacksonville. The sheriff here says the images show the gunman entering a different discount store down the road and leaving after making a purchase. He then stops at Edward Waters University, a historically black college, and puts on a tactical vest and mask as students alert campus security officer Antonio Bailey.
To me, the students are the heroes.
The shooter, 21-year-old Ryan Christopher Palmeter, quickly drives away when Lieutenant Bailey approaches his vehicle.
Did you ever, in your mind, ever consider not confronting this suspect?
No, I did not. This is what we signed up for.
The university's president says Bailey saved lives on campus.
You, sir, are nothing short of a hero, and we honor you today.
Minutes later, the gunman ends up at Dollar General, where he opens fire in the parking lot, killing Angela Carr.
Damn, this is unreal. This is so unreal. Oh, God.
Carr's daughter, Ashley, says her mother was an Uber driver dropping off a passenger. She leaves behind 3 children and 16 grandchildren.
She's incredible. I can't put it any other way.
Gerald Deshaun Gallion and 19-year-old A.J. Laguerre Jr. were murdered inside the store. A.J.'s 2 brothers, Quan and Josh.
I never thought I had to bury my little brother, man.
We were expecting him to bury us before we had to bury him.
The sheriff says the gunman took his own life when law enforcement entered the store and that he had legally purchased a handgun and AR-15 style rifle he used, which was painted with swastikas.
Still, despite the actions of the campus security officer, the sheriff here says that he believes that the university was not the initial target. Again, partly because the gunman had previously worked at another discount store. Joe.
All right, Gabe Gutierrez, thank you so much.
And turning now to the crisis engulfing Spanish soccer, prosecutors have opened an investigation into the head of Spain's soccer federation after he kissed a female player following the country's World Cup win. The soccer chief is refusing, though, to step down despite growing pressure to resign. NBC News foreign correspondent Kelly Cobaya joins us with the latest on this. Hey, Kelly, good morning.
Savannah, good morning to you. That's right. An overnight meeting did not go the Spanish soccer head's way as he now faces possible prosecution for kissing a star player on the lips. Overnight, Spanish prosecutors opened a criminal investigation into whether this kiss was an act of sexual assault. Spanish Soccer Federation President Luis Rubiales grabbed midfielder Jenny Hermoso's head, kissing her on the mouth after the team's World Cup win last week. FIFA has suspended Rubiales for 90 days pending its own investigation. And overnight, the Spanish Soccer Federation withdrew its support of Rubiales after a marathon emergency meeting, saying he should immediately present his resignation because of the latest events and the unacceptable behaviors that have seriously damaged the image of Spanish football. The incident at the award ceremony causing outrage. In locker room celebrations afterward, Hermoso can be heard saying, "I didn't like it." Rubiales apologized the next day, but later in the week claimed, "Hermoso lifted me off my feet, held my hips, my legs. We hugged," he said, accusing critics of false feminism and social assassination. His family rushing to his support. His cousin says, "We don't think what's happening is fair," adding his mother has locked herself in a church and gone on a hunger strike. Hermoso said she was pressured to say at first that the kiss was a natural expression of affection and gratitude, but now says, "At no time did I consent to the kiss that he gave me." The incident sparking protests in Spain and signs of support across the sports world. Crowds cheered Hermoso at a game over the weekend, with teams holding banners and U.S. players wearing wristbands saying, "We're with you." Spain's sports minister calling this the Me Too moment of Spanish football. And the Spanish men's teams and coaches have also backed Hermoso and her teammates. All 23 members of that World Cup winning team are now refusing to play unless Rubiales steps down. And the sports minister this morning was talking about this once again. He said, "It's over. No more discrimination for women." Savannah.
All right, Kelly, thank you very much. Let's stay on international headlines now, starting with new developments on the war in Ukraine.
NBC's Ali Arouzi joins us with that and other world headlines. Ali, good morning.
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Savannah. That's right. As Ukraine's counteroffensive grinds ahead, Kyiv says it has liberated the strategic southeastern settlement of Robotny and that they're making efforts to push further south in their counteroffensive against Russia. Ukrainian commanders are saying that their troops are trying to push southwards towards the Sea of Azov in an attempt to split Russian forces. Thousands of protesters in cars and on motorbikes took to the streets of Colombia's main cities to reject recent hikes in gasoline prices that have drastically increased the price of fuel in the country. Protesters say that the monthly price hikes set by the Colombia's first leftist government are making it hard for small businesses to operate and could push up food prices. And finally, for the first time, a U.S. record label has partnered with a K-pop company to develop a new group. Geffen Records and Hype, the Korean label behind superstars like BTS, revealed contestants for their new project. 20 girls aged between 14 and 21 from the US and South Korea, amongst other countries, were introduced as part of a streamed audition process set to air online later this week. So something to look forward to.
Yeah, wow, pretty cool. All right, Elliot Rizzi, thank you so much.
Welcome back. This morning, we are following tragic news from the campus of a South Carolina college just days into a new school year.
Yeah, according to authorities, a 20-year-old student was fatally shot close to campus as he tried to enter the wrong home on his new street just days after moving into his actual address. NBC News correspondent Emily Aketa joins us now with more on this devastating start to the school year. Hey, Emily, good morning.
Good morning to both of you. The deadly shooting happened a few miles from the University of South Carolina's campus, where classes had just gotten underway. The parents of that sophomore student, Nick D'Onofrio, say he was someone who loved life and was looking forward to the new school year with his friends.
This morning, the University of South Carolina is grieving the loss of one of their own. Sophomore Nicholas D'Onofrio, who authorities say was fatally shot early Saturday when he tried to enter the wrong home on his street, where he reportedly moved just last week.
The subject didn't gain entry. There's glass on the floor.
Officers received a 911 call for a reported home burglary near campus. While heading to the scene in Columbia, the incident was upgraded to a shots fired call. Police found a broken glass door and the 20-year-old on the front porch with a gunshot wound to his upper body. So far, no charges have been filed. At USC, D'Onofrio was pursuing a degree in exercise science and was a member of the Phi Kappa Sigma fraternity. His parents telling NBC News he was the son that every parent would wish for. Funny, smart, compassionate, and loved life. We will miss him immeasurably. The deadly gunfire appears to be the latest example in a string of similar tragedies. In April, Ralph Yarl, a 16-year-old black teen in Missouri, was shot after he accidentally went to the wrong home and rang the doorbell.
Ralph says that he was shot through the screen door at point-blank range.
Just days later in Texas, 2 cheerleaders were shot after one of them got in the wrong car at a supermarket parking lot. South Carolina, Missouri, and Texas are among a group of nearly 30 states with a stand your ground law, which allows individuals to use deadly force in self-defense if they're not breaking the law and in a place where they have a right to be. Though in both the Missouri and Texas incidents, the shooters are facing criminal charges. Back in D'Onofrio's hometown of Madison, Connecticut, close friends are now grappling with his sudden death.
He was my best friend growing up. He was just an awesome guy. It's just devastating.
And police tell us the shooter was a man who lived in the Columbia home but is not a student. They're working with local prosecutors to determine whether any charges will be filed. Meanwhile, the university says they're providing resources and support to those affected by their peers' sudden death.
Oh, just heartbreaking. All right, Emily, thank you. Well, this morning, the White House is naming 10 historically expensive drugs that it's selected for Medicare price negotiations. The announcement is part of President Biden's ongoing plan to lower health costs across the nation, particularly when it comes to Medicare.
The efforts are also a major milestone under President Biden's Inflation Reduction Act, which was signed into law last year. The president's push to lower health care prices has received heavy criticism from both the right and the pharmaceutical industry, with some companies even going so far as to sue the federal government. Now, he's expected to speak further about the list later this afternoon. Negotiated prices are expected to go into effect in 2026. NBC News medical contributor Dr. Natalie Azar joins us now with more on this. So which medications have made the list, and is there a pattern at all in terms of what types of conditions that they treat?
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, forecasters had predicted a couple of these, and they were right about a lot of them. So there's a couple of blood thinners on there, Eliquis, Xarelto, a lot of diabetes medications, a heart failure medication. I was very happy to see 2 of the drugs that I use all the time, Enbrel, Stelara. Those are 2 biologics that are used to treat rheumatic diseases as well as psoriasis and psoriatic arthritis. So it kind of runs the spectrum. There's also a medication that treats blood cancers or hematologic malignancies. So again, 10 out of a short list of 50.
Right.
So it's not going to cover everything, and there won't be one on there for everyone on Medicare, but definitely I think it's names that a lot of people will recognize.
So just put in context, I mean, how big are the savings here? What does that mean for an individual and also just public health generally?
Right. So first of all, let me just start by saying that this is not a foregone, this is not a closed deal. There are going to be at least a year of negotiation between Medicare and the pharmaceutical companies who make these drugs, and we don't even know if this is actually ever going to come to fruition. But savings could be anywhere from 25 to 60% of the current amount that the drugs cost. Many of them are over $1,000 a month. And, you know, for years, Medicare beneficiaries have struggled to be able to get these medications. So certainly for them, savings will be passed on, obviously, to them, as well as their premiums and to taxpayers who are funding Medicare.
We'd like to schedule you to come back on in 2026
Yeah,
to talk about
Thank
this.
you,
Because
Joe.
that's how long we're talking about.
That's how long
until
it
we
could
see
take.
this. People who need savings now, is there anything they can do?
Right. And so, you know, anyone who's listening to this out there who is a Medicare beneficiary knows how difficult this is with Part D. That's the medications that you get at the pharmacy. There are always patient assistance programs. Most people who are getting their medications prescribed by physicians who work in an office who have staff to do this, but it is hurdles and it's negotiations and it's using savvy, and very often it's using medications that aren't your first choice or even second choice, but going down the list to see what will be covered. And this has nothing to do with commercial insurance, by the way. This is right now just for Medicare, but we think that there might be some public shaming that could happen and that drug prices may actually go down for commercial beneficiaries, or the opposite might happen, and they might, you know, sort of, if they're thinking they're going to have you know, that they're going to be losing money in Medicare, that they might actually jack up the prices for commercial insurance. All of this is to be seen. We just don't know yet.
As our resident doctor, I mean, the potential for this, how big of a deal is it for people who need these medications?
Huge, huge. I cannot overstate how significant this would be. We have known for years that the drug companies have made so much money off of these prescription medications. The ones that they've chosen are ones that have been on the market for many, many years, not on without a generic available, et cetera. So this is going to be huge for patients if it actually happens.
All right. Dr. Natalie Azar, thanks so much for helping us understand this. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Now with some financial headlines, Elon Musk showed off Tesla's full self-driving beta software during an interesting live stream.
CNBC's Silvana Henao joins us with that and other money news. Hey, Silvana, good morning.
Hey, Savannah. Hey, Joe. Good morning to you. Yeah, so Elon Musk recently demoed Tesla's full self-driving beta software, and it did not go according to plan. During the live stream video, Musk almost ran a red light when it appeared the car misread the signal and tried to speed through the intersection. He was also streaming the demo while in the driver's seat, which violates Tesla's rules for driver assist technology. On the positive side, the video shows the car driving through construction zones and roundabouts with no issues. Federal safety regulators reportedly plan to resolve their probe into more than a dozen crashes involving Tesla's autopilot system and could potentially force a recall. Meanwhile, Walmart, Walgreens, and CVS are rolling out new healthcare options you previously could only get at a doctor's office. Starting today, testing and treatment for strep, flu, and COVID are now available at Walmart pharmacies in 12 states. Walgreens will soon have similar service in 13 states, and CVS will evaluate symptoms and prescribe flu medicine and cough suppressants in 10 states, although it won't offer tests. The chains are looking to grab a bigger share of healthcare spending as new state laws allow pharmacists to treat minor ailments. And Amazon has been quietly raising the minimum some customers must spend to get free shipping. To qualify, customers who don't have Prime memberships now need to spend $35. That's up from $25 previously. An Amazon spokesperson confirms the company is testing the new threshold. The change doesn't impact Prime members, and Consumer World reports the new $35 minimum appears to apply to customers based on where they live. I don't know anybody that doesn't have Prime.
I know. That is the best way to save on all the free shipping.
I just got into Amazon, which I know is crazy. crazy because I don't actually have my own account. I just started using my husband's on an app.
There you go.
I get it. You're just like, whoop, and then it shows up.
So
and
easy.
there it is, so fast. And you're like, how did that happen?
Thanks, Savannah. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sure thing.
Now to the supermarket and some ways you can save. You've probably seen it. We all have high prices, making shopping feeling more like a hassle than a necessity.
And even though prices are much lower than they were a year ago, some items are still higher than we're used to. So joining us now with some tips and tricks to help save at the supermarket is NBC News business and data reporter Brian Chung. Brian, good morning. So help us better understand where prices are right now and how you can save before you get to the checkout.
Yeah, good morning. 3.6%. That's how much more expensive food at the grocery is now than this time a year ago. So some tips to help you save. First of all, just make a list, right? I don't do this, making sure that you actually write down exactly what you need so you don't overbuy. And then also consider subscribing to brands online. You can see social media posts that might offer coupons in some cases. And then also just try to buy generic. But there are other ways that you can also save money, like, for example, swapping some items depending on what you're buying. And again, it's going to depend on what category you're looking at.
Yeah, let's talk through some categories, maybe specific meals. Let's start with breakfast.
Yes.
How can we save?
So when it comes to breakfast, and this is really interesting, consider hot breakfast instead of cereal. And the reason why is because egg prices have been going down and cereal prices have really been rocketing up. So 5.1%, that's how much more expensive cereal is compared to this time a year ago. Eggs over that time period down 14%. So maybe making an omelet over cereal might be a better option for you.
For a while, eggs felt like jewelry.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my God. It was like only
but it's come down
2 cartons max per
like,
customer.
It was crazy.
You will eat all that omelet. Let's talk about lunch. How about if you're shopping for lunch?
Yeah, so meat prices have been going up across the board. But what is interesting is that the cost for bacon over ham is getting a little bit tighter. So actually right now might be a better time to consider a BLT over ham and cheese, because sliced ham at the store has been going up by 41 cents per pound since the beginning of the year, whereas bacon, it's gone down 57 cents per pound. So I'm a big BLT guy, so that's great news for me.
Yeah, I love BLTs too. I really like the very specific choices that you're giving us here. What about at dinner? What should we eat at dinner, Brian?
Well, I've even got more specific details for you there on that front. So when it comes to beef prices, it's been going up across the board, and we know that steaks are always more expensive than ground beef, but the rate of inflation for beef steaks has been going up way, way higher than the rate of inflation for ground beef, which means that especially right now might be a better option just to make a beef patty or a burger on the grill as opposed to popping a ribeye on especially this Labor Day weekend. So something really important to remember there as well.
So eggs, BLT.
Burgers.
Yeah. Meatballs.
And if you're on
meatballs as well, because
and if you're on a gluten-free diet, sorry.
Yeah, my bad.
Also, isn't the typical you're not supposed to eat before you go, or you should eat before you go to the grocery store, right?
Yes, because if you go hungry, you're going to buy
That is so real for me. Like, I'm a nightmare at the store hungry. It's like double.
And if you don't make a list, it's really going to get you in trouble. So
oh, my gosh.
Be wary.
All right, Brian Chung, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right.
Welcome back. One of the biggest stars in WWE history is getting back into the ring. John Cena has signed up for 7 appearances on the SmackDown brand in September and October. On top of that, Cena will serve as Seth Rollins' tag team partner during a match against Imperium's Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser. It's going to take place at the WWE Superstar Spectacle event, which is in India on September 8th. The 16-time world champion had put wrestling on the back burner in recent years, appearing in the ring only occasionally so he could concentrate on his movie and TV career. The big question, he's been the champion 16 times. That's tied for the record. Could they ever maybe have a 17th championship, which would put him on top all by himself?
It's so crazy, too, just how he's fully broken in terms of Hollywood.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of like, oh, yeah, wow, I forgot that's where he came from.
He's got a big show out right now, too, streaming. So,
exactly. So cool. All right, Joe, thank you.
Yep.
Well, we end this hour with the latest edition of our series, Women Mean Business. Vanessa and Kim Pham are first-generation Vietnamese Americans who are celebrating the bold flavors of their heritage through their business, Om Som. It's a brand of sauces and saucy noodles. First, here's a little bit of their story.
As the daughters of Vietnamese refugees, Vanessa and Kim Pham grew up in Boston, watching their mom cook dinner from scratch every night. The sisters built careers in startups and consulting, but ultimately, their hearts drew them back to the kitchen. Vanessa and Kim noticed there was a void in many grocery stores when it came to authentic Asian flavors. They set out to change that, holding down various side hustles while they focused on building and launching the company of their dreams. That company was Om Som, meaning noisy or rambunctious in Vietnamese, a nod to how their parents would describe their childhood behavior. Now, Vanessa and Kim say that perfectly describes the spirit of their cooking sauces and saucy noodles, which give you the bold flavors you need to build an authentic Asian dish. Shaking up your local markets with their daring, unapologetic Asian fare, the Pham sisters are women who mean business.
Vanessa and Kim Pham join me now. Good morning to you both. First, I love your smiles and laughter just watching that. How cute. I mean, I just love that your sister's getting to do this, which we'll get into in just a moment. Vanessa, though, I'll start with you. And I want to hear more about your mom, just learning about being in the kitchen from her, what that experience was like and how it ultimately did influence you both.
Absolutely. So as the daughters of Vietnamese refugees, food and my mom's cooking was such an entry point into really engaging with our identity, learning about our culture. And then from there, you know, we were able to access so much more. But that was really the starting point, being around the dinner table together and eating all this incredible Vietnamese food. So, yeah, our mom was extremely influential in our lives.
And Kim, I know, growing up in Boston, what was it like in terms of seeing food that represented your culture?
Yeah, I think we grew up with a lot of feelings of shame and other as it related to our identity and as an extension, our food. And so I think starting Om Som for Vanessa and I was really like a pivotal personal journey of reclaiming and celebrating what we once were ashamed of. And so it feels really good to be building something so proud and loud because that is absolutely reflected in our own identities.
Absolutely. And just a little bit, I mean, I know the story's long, but what was it like to launch? How hard was it? I know it was during the pandemic, which seems hard just on its face. I mean, how did that impact it? And just as two young women getting a business off the ground, what was that like?
Oh my gosh, so challenging. One of the most challenging things we've ever done. And I think, you know, together as sisters, we've been really able to support each other, figure out where our strengths lie and build something from heart and intention. And I think anytime we've gone through anything extremely challenging, recentering in our values has been what's given us clarity to proceed. So that's been our kind of secret sauce in running the business.
Absolutely. And what was it like to launch in the pandemic?
I mean, to say an entrepreneurship journey is easy is a lie. It's been really brutal and beautiful in so many different ways. But for us, it was really interesting when we were setting out to launch. You know, we actually got a ton of advice from advisors and investors who were like, hey, this is not the time. You know, like there's a pandemic. We don't know what's going to happen. But we really, like Vanessa said, took that time to recenter in our values and in our roots. And something told us, like, now is the time. Like, more Americans are cooking now more than ever. And also people really want proud and loud Asian flavors that will spark joy in their home kitchens during this tough time. And so, yeah, we, against all odds, made the leap.
We talked a little bit about this in that setup piece you played, but you just mentioned proud and loud.
Yeah.
The name means something very specific. Tell me about choosing that name.
It does. So when we were starting the brand, we had no idea what to call ourselves. And we kind of kept returning to this idea of rowdy and rambunctious. So Om Som is rooted in the Vietnamese phrase Om Som, which actually is a negative term. It's like what you would chastise your children with, like, don't be so Om Som. And we love this idea of like reclaiming that and making it ours in a really kind of like middle finger way. And so Om Som just felt really authentic to what we're trying to do, which is like kind of shake things up.
Absolutely. And what's it like getting to do this with your sister? A question for both of you.
It is the most beautiful journey and one of the hardest things, too, because everything is so deeply personal when you're building a brand that's born of your identity. And so Kim and I together have navigated the hardest times. We've gotten closer through it. We've learned to be more vulnerable with each other through it. And I think, you know, it's a journey that I would never, you know, change.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It seems like you guys are like best friends as well as sisters.
Hard-earned, Mama. Hard-earned. But really, yeah, I can't, like, it's such a privilege to build with and alongside her.
We were just talking before, my sister and I were the same ages and the same age difference, and how much fun to get to do this hand in hand every day and have it be a successful company. I mean, it probably doesn't even feel like work a lot of the time. Hard work.
It still feels like work.
Yeah. And I know now you're across the country, in Whole Foods, everywhere. It's only been a few months of that. How's it been going?
Oh my gosh, it's been incredible seeing the reception of the saucy noodles. They're already just like flying off the shelves, and it's been, yeah, just a dream come true to like actually see those numbers come in and be like, it's working.
Yeah, I think even more important, our parents went out to Whole Foods when we launched, and we're like taking selfies in the aisle, and I was like, the dream is to do them proud. So,
How proud is your mom, especially after it kind of being born in her kitchen?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're like our biggest fans. I think when we first launched, they were like, entrepreneurship? Not sure. As refugees, understandably, they have a different risk profile than us. But they gave us the privilege to work on this, and now they really are like, yeah, they're just our biggest fans.
That's so fantastic. All right, we've only got like 30 seconds left, but we always ask in Women Mean Business your piece of advice for a woman who's watching right now who might want to be on the path that you're on. Vanessa, I'll start with you.
Mine would be to welcome the feelings and emotions that come along with the journey. It's hard. Things will come up. I would say don't feel like you need to suppress your emotions or your sensitivity. Make space for them, and that will be where you unlock clarity and access connection.
And Kim?
Authenticity is your superpower. The world will try to put you in a box. All the ways that you fall outside of that box are your greatest strengths.
There we go. You guys are awesome. Thank you for coming by. Thank you for being part of Women Mean Business. This was so fantastic. Vanessa and Kim Pham, both of you, thank you.
Coolest middle finger I've ever seen. All right, that's going to do it for this hour of morning news.
Right. The news continues right now, though. Don't.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.